Today, we're joined by someone who has helped shape the cruise industry and the way travel advisors experience it. Vicki Freed is the Senior Vice President of Sales, Trade Support, and Service at Royal Caribbean International, where she leads one of the largest sales force in the cruise industry and oversees everything from trade support to customer service. With decades of experience, including nearly 30 years with Carnival and a leadership role as the first female chairman of CLIA's marketing and travel agent training, Vicki has built a reputation of one of the most respected leaders in travel. But if you ask her, she'd much rather be known as best friend of the travel agents. But beyond the titles and accolades, what stands out most is her passion for people and the relationships that drive this industry forward. And P.S., she's an amazing pickleball player. Vicki, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jamie. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for this opportunity.
Oh, so this podcast is about kindness and leadership with kindness, like leading with kindness. And we talked yesterday about that and what it means and how it changes really the dynamics of everything in the industry. And so what does kindness mean to you?
Well, first of all, I love the theme because that is what life is all about. It is showing kindness to other people. It is showing gratitude for everything that we have. And so kindness is everything. You know, in a world that you can be anything, being kind is the secret. And that is what, if you look at really successful people in life, it is all about kindness. And we see it each and every day in our lives. We just have to recognize it.
I love that. We talked about, you have a neighbor that's a professor, and the person shared a book with you, and it was about, the professor teaches about
Happiness.
And you said one of the chapters is about kindness.
It is. And, you know, and kindness is really a connection. It's a connection to other people. And I read this book over the weekend when I knew we were going to have this podcast, and she really does teach college level courses on happiness. And she said kindness and happiness go together. If you're kind to people, you connect with people, and you get happiness from that. And it's so true.
100%. How does Royal Caribbean, how do they embody kindness in their everyday work with the travel agents, with their guests? How do you guys separate yourself from the competition?
Well, it starts with our leadership. It starts really with Michael Bailey, my boss, the president of Royal Caribbean. And when we're in meetings, he always says, let's look at things from the consumer's point of view. Let's look at things from the eyes of the travel advisor. Let's look at it from their perspective. And does this really make sense? And are we being kind? And are we being thoughtful? And so we're very lucky to have a leader that really believes in that. And, you know, we do not live in a black and white world at Royal Caribbean. You know, we have lots of shades of gray, and we never want a policy to be the hard and fast rule. And we have to think about things that make sense from a consumer. I mean, so maybe on occasion, the consumer did not buy travel insurance, but something happened the week before the cruise. Maybe there was an illness or something, and they have to cancel, and they are going to lose all their money. Now, we have to look at it from their point of view, and we have to say, does that make sense? And we're a big corporation, and yes, we like it when people buy travel insurance, for example, but sometimes it just makes sense to just let them have a future cruise credit, just to be kind to people, because at the end, that's what really pays off.
It is. And, you know, one time that you guys extended an olive branch to us, I mean, I wasn't even a travel agent at the time. JJ was playing ball and his dad got sick, and it was about a week before. And, you know, I mean, we're young. Why do we need travel insurance? And so we called, and you guys were so, you know, and you gave us a future cruise credit. And that, you know, in a time that is so stressful. And I mean, and I'm not advocating for people to not get travel insurance. I am a huge, I tell everybody to get travel insurance. But, you know, if you've got somebody that has sailed time and time again, and, you know, they've shown their loyalty, I love that. And, you know, you can't do it every time, but sometimes, you know, you just got to listen to the client.
Yeah. And it makes a difference. It connects people to us.
Yeah.
You know, I remember not too long ago, a few months ago, a consumer called me because her travel advisor said, no, you lost your money. And her daughter, it was a his and her family, and they were blending, and they were going on a short little cruise out of Port Canaveral. And her daughter tried to commit suicide. And she said, you know, my travel advisor said to call you, Vicki, because maybe you would,
Oh
look
my,
at this different. And that was okay. Listen, we're all accessible. We
I
all,
love it.
want to be helpful. And she
Oh,
said, and she said, my daughter, she's not able to go. And we were trying to blend our two families together. And I said, well, first of all, our hearts are
Yeah.
breaking for your family. What can we do to help
Right.
you? And she says, well, would you consider just giving us a future cruise credit? Now, those staterooms went out empty, so we
Yeah,
did take
so-
a revenue
right.
hit, but it didn't matter
Right.
because at the end of the day, I said, we will do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Do you want your money back?
Yeah.
Do you want a future cruise credit? She goes,
Yeah.
we'd like a future cruise credit. So then I wrote her a little note just wishing her family well. And she wrote me back saying, I'm so touched that somebody would even care enough. And then they did cruise with us a few months later.
Oh.
And I said, we want to make this super special for you. And then I comped a photo package for her whole family so they could have memories.
Yeah.
And we were just so glad that we had that opportunity
Right.
to touch somebody's lives. And I'm going to tell you, even if she never cruises again with us,
Yeah.
even though she says she's going
Yeah.
to be loyal to Royal, she knows she was valued. She
Right.
knows she was treated with kindness at the most difficult time in someone's life.
Yeah.
And, we have to look at things from their point of view.
100%. And I think that's, you and your team they make us feel like family. Galen and
Crystal.
Crystal and
Tommy,
Krista. Yeah,
and
it's
yeah,
like
the whole
everybody
gang.
is just like your whole entire team. I mean, I feel like they're our family, and we've been through amazing times. We've celebrated good times. We've been there, during sad times. But that's the one thing that it's like I know I can always pick up the phone and call Galen, and and I love it. And I can call you too. I try not to, but
I'm here
you're always
to serve
there,
you too.
100%. Or like we'll be at an event and I'll take a picture and send it to you. And so it's kind of fun to just be surrounded with good people. And I love that.
And kindness really is consistency.
It
It's not a
is.
one and done because that's not genuine. It is really, if you're consistent with the kindness that you extend to other people, it all comes back to you.
100%. So one of the things is cruising and running a business. I mean, it's a business, but how does kindness come into play with how do you keep everybody happy? Because that's the thing that I think I have a hard time with, because it's like when you have so many people, so you have so many different channels too. So you have travel trade, you have the guest, you have your call centers, you have a lot of moving parts here. How do they all blend together with one another?
Well, that's a great question because you're right. We have thousands and
Yes.
thousands of employees, and then we have tens of thousands of crew members on board. And I think it starts with empowerment.
Yeah.
We always tell our crew members and our teams that are, in our call centers and our salespeople, do what you think is right. And when you do what's right, that's the right thing to do. And so we empower our team members, regardless of their level, to make a difference. So if a cabin steward, sees that it's somebody's birthday in the room that he or she is serving, and he gets wind of it, he can go and get cupcakes or do whatever he wants because we say do something that makes somebody special. And I remember getting a letter about a crew member on board that was serving in Izumi, which is our sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
And there was a couple, and they were with a small little 2-year-old. And the 2-year-old was kind of out of control.
Yeah.
And so the waiter got a clean tablecloth, got on the floor with the 2-year-old so mom and dad could get a well-needed break and enjoy a beautiful dinner. And he got spoons and little things for the 2-year-old. And he's lying there on the floor with the 2-year-old, entertaining that 2-year-old. Now, don't you think that made a huge difference for mom and dad who needed a little nice dinner break? And for that waiter, it was joy for him because, first of all, he's empowered to do that. Right. Second of all, he may have had a child at home in his country this brought back a heartfelt memory for him. And so it's nice to do things that surprise and delight clients.
I love that. I mean, and I think that's what amazing jobs we have that we get to experience and meet so many different people from so many different cultures. And like you said, a lot of your servers and staff that's on the ship, they have families back home. And, so they're connecting every week with new families, and that could make them think of their kids, their spouse, their parents. And, just what an amazing opportunity that we have to get a seat and have a front row seat to these amazing opportunities that everybody else gets to have. So how has Royal Caribbean used kindness to gain a competitive edge in the industry of cruising?
Well, that's a great question.
Tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a tough question, because I don't think we use kindness to gain the competitive edge. I think what we use kindness is, it's really our core values. Yeah. It's just being nice to people. And when you're nice to people, people want to do business with you. So I guess it's as simple as that. We don't really do something for a competitive edge. We do it because it really, as I said earlier, it's the right thing to do. And doing the right thing is the right thing to do. And no matter how many times we say that, but that is so simple, but it is the foundation of our belief. So unfortunately, during COVID and the pause, we knew we would get to the end. We just didn't know when we'd get over it. We had to really take care of our employees, our crew members. We had to fly and get everybody back home off the ships. That was like 50, 60,000 crew members. That was not easy. Yeah. And then there were some hardships for some of those people. And we had to just help them, bridge them with financial support so that they would come back. And when COVID was over and the ship started sailing, our crew members came back. They wanted to be a part of the Royal Caribbean family. So we didn't do it for a competitive edge. We just did it because we could. Yeah. And, I remember having our former chairman, Richard Fain, we were having lunch in the cafeteria one day, and it was at this point that there was the government shutdown. And we have 2 cafeterias at our headquarters and 2 different buildings. And he said any government worker that has been, put on pause can come and get lunch for free and dinner to take home for their families. And I said to Richard Fain, our chairman, and this is really the core values, why do we do this? And he said, Vicki, we do this because we can. Exactly. And it makes a difference. Right. And it's genuine. I think it is. And I think that that's what makes it so beautiful, because you're right. You can't make somebody be kind, or you can't be kind because you want the business. Like, either it's natural and it is genuine. I mean, I think you can lead by example, and people say, oh, and then you make it acceptable to be kind. Because some people in business think that it's better to not be kind, just be like, this is what we do. These are the rules. Like, some people lead like that, and some companies lead like that. And I mean, it's okay. Like, but it's just not for me. And I said, if I have to work, I want to work with people that share kind of similar, like, beliefs. And it just makes it so much more enjoyable to work with people that you can relate to. And I think that that's what MVP and Royal, like, I think that that's one of the reasons we connect. And what I love about that story is you didn't see that on the news. I mean, at least I didn't see it on the news. No, you didn't.
And it's like, and you do it. And that's what I say is the best part about being kind. You do it when no one's watching. That's right. That's when you do it. And then you can tell stories about people that you see being kind, like your stewards or your call center people, or, Galen. I mean, it's like, it's the unthankful jobs a lot of times that they have, but they get to do these things. And when they're kind, it shines, and it's not going to be on the news, or it's not going to be, but these are the people that I think you've surrounded yourself with. And I hope that that's the people I've surrounded myself with, because I think it is. And it's, everything seems right when you have your right people. But I love your leadership. I love the way you lead. I love the way that the travel advisors look up to you. Last night, I was telling people, I was like, did you know that, like, Vicki Freed's down there? Like, go see her. And I was like, she'll take a picture with you. And they're like, what? She's here? And I think some people fangirled out, and they were all excited. Galen and I was laughing about that. And, it's like, you are a big deal in the industry. And I think that is because the way you lead, but it's the way you make people feel too. And
well, I don't know that I'm a big deal. And I have to share with you that, I have a fancy title, but when you tear up my business card, we're all the same. You know what? At the end of the day, we all want to be treated with kindness, with respect, with, just people being nice to one another. And so really, I started my career as a sales rep, never imagined I would grow to be a senior VP. It wasn't even a goal of mine. Right. And it really has to do with other people supporting me and giving me the opportunity to support them.
Oh, I love it. Now, I do have to ask, though, on the pickleball court.
Like, now I'm not so kind on that.
I was going to say, it's like, I've seen you play. and you're pretty competitive and you're really good too. How long have you been playing pickleball?
I started during COVID, and so
No.
I've not played
So you're
very
new.
long. Yeah, I'm new to the game, and I only play once a week at best. And honestly, I've got you fooled because I'm really not that good, but I always get a good partner.
I love it.
And I put a lot of pressure on that partner. I
Yeah.
always say to Michael or Jesse, those are my regular partners when we're on the cruises, and I say, listen, you have to cover 98% of the court. I'm just not going to tell you what the 2% I'm covering, but you have to make sure that we do not lose or you're in big trouble.
Losing is not an option. I love it. So Doug and Michelle played against you one time, and that's where I saw you playing. And I'm like, wow, that is when the four of us, we were like, we need to start playing. And so I've not played that many times, but I mean, every time I do, I'm like, I actually like it. And I've tried to play tennis and it's like,
The court's too big.
the court is too big. I'm out of breath. And I'm like, but pickleball, like I can do it and not break out in a sweat, or I might get a little bit exhausted, but it's nothing like tennis. And I'm like, wow, like this sport was made for me. And then I have JJ. So it's like, he can actually cover like 98% of the court.
That's the
just with
secret.
his reach. And so, but we laugh. And so I'm learning like the rules and all that. But like you, I mean, we're pretty competitive, but we do a little bit of trash talking. But it's always like it's never out of spite or anything. But we like to win too. But Vicki, thank you so much, first and foremost, for just leading with kindness and being a good example for so many of us in the industry that strive to just build a good company and surround ourselves with good people. So I just want to first thank you for being a good example to all of us.
And thank you right back, because you also lead with kindness. You and JJ and the whole company and the support that you give to others. Like I heard this morning, you gave out 4,500 toys.
Yes.
To people, who needed toys at Christmas and just helping people with Thanksgiving dinners. I remember it was thousands of people that your company helps. And, those are the little moments that make the biggest difference.
It is. And, the funny thing about the toys is that was kind of by accident. And this is the thing about being being kind is we did the Thanksgiving meals and then somebody came and they're like, hey, we had people that had donated toys for Christmas, but then one of our agents, his dad works at a store and he said, hey, we've collected all these we would like. And so then they bring just like boxes and boxes in. And then another example of that was we did a golf charity golf tournament for the Heart of MVP. And then someone that works for Cisco was like, hey, the next time you give out meals, we want to be a part of that. And so that's it, and that is, so now we're going to be able to feed so many more people just by that little, it was huge to us, but just by doing that in Mitchell and Betsy and the Mitchell crew, putting all of that together. I mean, I think there was like 20 people, like agents, friends of MVP, and just doing all that. And so I'm just thankful. And I know you guys do a lot of outreach, things like that too. And it's good to be able to do something like that.
It makes you feel good too.
It does.
At the end of the day, I mean, like we're very involved with Make-A-Wish as a corporation. And so we're able to grant wishes to people and we raise money for Make-A-Wish. And for our employees, they feel part of the kindness project. So we're really so lucky to have what we have. And, I always, my mentor and former boss, Bob Dickinson, he always said, you don't get to pick your gene pool. Yeah. You're born to the parents that you're born to, and you get the opportunities oftentimes of who the parents are. And, we were always talking about homelessness. And, I see people on the streets in Miami. And, the other day I take the train home and I walked to Starbucks. And this guy who's homeless, he says, ma'am, excuse me, do you think you could get me a turkey sandwich? And I didn't want to miss my train, but I thought that turkey sandwich means more to him than my train. Yeah. And I stopped at Publix, the market. I got him a turkey sandwich. I gave it to him on my walk back to the train station. And this guy, you would have thought I'd given him something really meaningful. It was just food. Yeah. But you know what? He's homeless and he needed food.
He needed foods.
We all have that opportunity to do the small things that make the big difference to someone else.
Yeah. And as I was talking to JJ the other day, we were driving down and saw some homeless people. And I said, there's a story behind that. And, and it's just so heart wrenching. And, it's like, it's so hard. And like you said, that sandwich, I mean, who knows the last time he had food, and it's like, it just, usually mental health or addiction, or the combination of the two. And it's so like, there's a story behind it, and there's a family behind it, and there's struggles behind it. Nobody wants to be homeless, but like, how do we help? And I think that's, just one sandwich at a time is how we help. And so,
and just sometimes it's saying hello,
and
just
acknowledging,
giving a smile,
What are you most excited about next at Royal Caribbean, and how does this affect your guest experience?
Well, I think it's all our new ships that we're building, the Icon class. It is so exciting to see when people walk on and they look at the ship and they said, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. And I'm going to be on this ship for 7 nights, and I'm going to create incredible memories that will last a lifetime. And so when we see families connecting, and we see people off of their phones, even though we have great Wi-Fi, and we see people having meals together and families, it makes a difference. And so our big ships are certainly exciting. And then, it's exciting to see the private destinations. And then for me, being in the office, it's exciting to see young people. Like, we have Alex, who's just been with us 10 months, who was an intern, and to see him grow in his career and other people grow in their careers. It's the youngins that we're excited about to see grow.
It is. Isn't it fun though? Like, you see them come in and they're just kind of like, wow, this is a lot. And then they grow. And, and they may be like you, and he may be running the show. He might be taking Michael Bailey's spot before too long.
Well, you're right about that, because, at the end of the day, Michael Bailey, who's our president and CEO, who I mentioned earlier in the show, he started out as a purser, somebody on the ships, came on when he was in his early 20s, and now he's running the biggest cruise line in the world.
Oh, I have a funny story about Michael. And we were on one of the ships, and it was a social media cruise. And I think you had like 5 travel agencies on there. And I mean, we're on there with like some big names, and I'm getting messages like, this person's on your ship. Like, you're on that ship. Like, how did you get on that ship? I went on the ship. And I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know how I'm here. And so I just like impromptu just asked Michael, I was like, can I do like a little interview with you? And in it, I said, yeah, I'm definitely out of my league here. And he's like, no, you're exactly where you belong. And he was just so kind to me. And, and that's what I love about Michael is he's so approachable, and he's just so kind.
He is so kind, and he is so down to earth.
He is.
And we have more fun and more laughs. And, he says, listen, at the end of the day, we can't take ourselves so seriously. We're selling boat rides. I mean, we're making people happy. Yeah. And he says we should really always be smiling and so show gratitude for the jobs we have.
Yeah. I love it. It's like we're selling boat rides. Like, how can we be anything but happy? So speaking about Michael Bailey, I mean, we obviously both are big, like we both love him. What is a funny story that you can share about Michael?
Okay, he's crazy about our new golden retrievers that are on the Icon, the Star of the Seas, and soon to be the Legend of the Seas. We have them professionally trained, and they come on and they come completely trained. And then he takes them home before they're put on the ships. They're still puppies. And then he lets them sleep with him in bed.
No way.
They are like, so he totally untrains them. And then now they come to the office. This is the best. Now they come on. Well, we have our new dog, our new golden, who comes every Tuesday now because, she's not ready yet to go on the ships. Yeah. And it's the best day to have meetings in his office because he is so distracted. And I said, Michael, just say yes and give your little puppy, give Sailor or Skipper, give her just a big hug. And, the meetings are great when the dog is there because everybody's playing with the dog. And Michael has this whole house set up in his office with blankets. And he says, this has to be beautiful. It can't be a crate. It has to have the right blanket.
Absolutely.
And it's all logo. And so it's fun to see Michael so happy.
But that's such a small thing. Like, bring the dog in. Everybody's happy. It just really lets everybody's guards down. And I love that. It's so different, but yet it's so simple, but smart, And so nobody's walking into a meeting and seeing one of the dogs be like, oh, there's the dog again. I mean, everybody's just like, oh, you're here today and excited about it. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, Michael lets us all pass along or pass Skipper to one another, and we all like hug her.
Untrained.
Untrained. Oh, I have
No,
a
you were-
picture. Wait, I have a picture of the puppy on his coffee table that's in his office. And like I'm saying, like, Michael, this is like really good training that you've done with the dog.
You know, the trainer's like, no,
I
it's
know.
kind of like grandkids. It's like, you know, they get them doing what they want to, and then they come to grandparents' house and it's like, we untrain them. Yeah, I love it. But I mean, you know, that's we can do that. And so I love that you have the dogs, and it's a big hit actually for the guests too.
It is. They're
And-
always looking for the dog on the ship.
Yeah.
And then somebody has people ask me, like, why do you have a golden retriever on a ship? And we say, because we can.
Because you can.
And then, of course, the best job is the chief dog officer. Well, the chief dog officer is actually the dog.
Yeah.
And then we have chief of staff for the dog.
I
Now,
love
that's the job everybody wants on the ship. That's her sole job, is to take care of the dog.
So every dog like clearly has their own staff.
Yes, yes.
And so
Chief of staff.
the chief of staff, their job is to
Take care of
the dog, like the dog nanny, or the
Yeah.
you know, it's like
And they have a beautiful room. It's a
Oh.
big suite and has
Oh.
a special shower just for the
For the
dog,
dog.
because the dog
I
runs
mean-
on perfect day at Coco Cay on the beach
Yeah,
and then
you
needs
can't have
to
a-
take a bath.
you can't have a stinky dog on the ship.
Yeah. And you should see all of the clothes and collars and bandanas that the dog has. It is so much fun. And then it takes on average 30 to 40 minutes to walk from one side of the ship to the other with the dog, because everybody wants to stop and take a photo. And then the dog has another house on the bridge with the captain for nap time.
No way.
Yeah.
So now are
We're
these
crazy.
I love it. I love it. I have so many questions. So so the chief staff, are they dog trainers, or they're just like how do you even apply to have this position?
It's we usually take a crew member that has some experience with dogs. We
Okay.
interview them, and they are interviewed by Michael Bailey, because these are his children. These dogs
Yeah.
are his kids.
But it's a
And
crew member.
It's a crew member, but they, so they know what life is about on the ship.
okay.
And we just, Galen was sharing a story with me last night that Vicki, who is one of the chief of staff for the dog, she came back from vacation and she was sitting on the helicopter pad that we have. And the rover came running towards her and went crazy because she had been gone for a couple months on vacation. And to see that,
That love,
Galen
yeah.
promised me she's going to send me the video and the pictures of the, and it was just like heartwarming. That dog really missed her.
Oh, I love it. I love it. After 18 years of being with Royal Caribbean, what is your favorite thing to do when you're cruising?
That's a good question. And of course, I would have to say entertainment. We have the best entertainment at sea, probably the best entertainment in the vacation industry, because we have amazing shows, whether there are live music shows or there are actual Broadway productions, or even, dueling pianos.
Yeah.
But we have the ice shows, we have the aqua theater shows, and we just really make it fun. And there's a lot of energy on Royal Caribbean.
I love that. And you guys you're the biggest employer of Olympic ice skaters.
Yes.
And I think that is something to be so proud of. I mean, all of your shows are phenomenal. Like, I don't even know how you do it. And it's like you're at one show and you forget that you're on a ship. And then you go to a totally different one. And then it's like, wait, like you kind of just get immersed in the whole experience. But you guys do have amazing shows.
Yeah, so it's not just Olympic ice skaters, it's Olympic divers too.
Yes,
because in
that's
the
right.
aqua theater, after they're finished with their Olympic career, they still want to dive. And we have the amazing aqua theater shows. So
Yes.
we definitely employ a lot of people who are very talented.
I love that. And I think we talked about that one time. And I think that is such a neat fact about Royal Caribbean, that you guys employ a lot of former Olympians. That's super cool. And I love that. And so, Vicki, thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity. Let's do it again.
I know. We should. We should. Thank you for joining us on the Kindness Connection podcast. We'll see you next time.